Hey, Decide Destiny crew, Pastor Reedy here. Thanks for joining me for another Decide Destiny daily dose. Decide to find reasons to find God. There's so many important reasons in life to find God, and one of them really comes down to your moral laws, your principles, your values, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, whether or not you're going to be corrupted through many of life's temptations and pleasures, whether or not you're going to be influenced by other people and not stick to what you design and what you decide as the right thing to do. And I just had a lovely chat to a gentleman today, and we were talking about some of our connections to Africa. So I was born in Johannesburg, he was born in Nigeria, and we were talking about the governments. And there was a lot of similarities, and we were finding that the countries that we were talking about, the things that happened, was just a systematic problem of, what happens. You get in, you say all the nice things, and you end up serving yourself a huge platter and messing, not progressing, not helping. And this gentleman was talking about how he does a lot of work for a lot of medical companies, medical professionals, and they all got together and they all had a Nigerian connection, and they all got together and they got the latest and greatest technology. They put their money together and they went to send it over to his country. And then when they went to send it over, there was complication, and eventually you realize that there was forces that did not want their project to go through. And you hear about similar things in other parts, and I'm just talking about Africa particularly because I was born in South Africa, my family in South Africa, we experienced a lot of that, and he was telling me about Nigeria and how grateful he is to be in another country now. So we're just discussing some of those things and realizing that I mentioned and I reached out and didn't know where he stood. And today's modern day, where families and religion and faith and belief are under attack, they are denigrated, they're vilified, they're accused for someone not taking ownership and blaming them for all their problems, but not looking at themselves. So I just mentioned, this is why God, having faith in God, having faith in, something, a higher power, whatever you want to call it, is so important. Because if you have faith in that, and then he mentioned he was a Christian and all these sorts of things, and we're discussing, stories and, different things, and realizing that having that faith is so important in terms of your moral compass. Because you're going to get to times, there's going to be people saying, oh, why don't you just do it this way, why don't you do it that way? He went to school with people that said, oh, I'm going to go in, I'm going to change the whole system. And they went into the system and they just became a cog in the system that just did what everyone else did. So that was, it was refreshing to kind of chat to him and go a little bit deeper and, discuss philosophy and politics. Politics is a very important thing to actually discuss. It's the spiritual war. It's a spiritual, the embodiment of what we are trying to accomplish together on this earth, and having our faith aligned in what we're doing in every step of the way, walking with a higher power, walking with that, stepping with that, allows us to make the right decisions, not just for our lives and for our future, but also the impact that we're having on other people. Another story, final story of the Daily Dose I'll mention is that I was talking about another country. My stepfather was over in Sri Lanka, and just there during the big wreck, and he was staying in a certain area during the tsunami, and so the tsunami came through. He was staying in a certain area, and this area got decimated, and some people got together in that area and said, we're not going to clean up. And he, what's going on? He said, we're not going to clean up, we're going to wait for the government to come and see how bad the damage is, so that then they can actually really take care and really fix this place up. And for my reaction was the same as my friends this morning, just going, well, why don't you clean it up? Why don't you document it? Why don't you just clean it up, fix it, help the people? And that's the thing with faith. With faith, you go and you help people no matter what. You don't look at their religious beliefs. Don't look at what they choose to, what team they like, you know, what color of their eyes they are, whatever this, you know, these weird differences that are, you know, ridiculous to judge people on. You know, what they, you know, whether they like, you know, this brand or that brand, whatever it is, you know, whether they prefer to go this way with the way that they live or go that way. You don't look at that. You look at this as a human being in need, and me walking in the light of a higher divine power requires me to help this person in need, full stop. And that's really the discussion, guys, is to find reasons to have faith. And look, if you don't want to call it God, you know, if you don't want to call it faith, if you want to call it something else, if you want to call it enlightenment, spirituality, frequency, higher energy, you know, a divine power, whatever, but just finding reasons to connect to that so that you can align your moral compass in the right way, so that when it comes time for you to make a decision and you're in a position of power or control, you make the right decision for your moral compass, for your principles, for the virtue of your soul, and also for the other people that you're going to impact around you. So anyway, guys, a bit more of a serious one, but just thought I would share that. Just such a good connection with this gentleman that I had today, and just discussing these sorts of things. And I just think it's important to get it out to more people, and just keep these conversations going, keep them flowing, you know, because that's how change really happens, is that we start discussing these things and seeing ways in which we can do better, live better, inspire better, and, you know, all together enlighten and impact better. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Share it around if anyone else you think this might resonate with, might help. You know, and as always, remember, decide your destiny. Cheers.